What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Here we are with another reaction. In this, we have why Brits don't do religion like Americans, and it's not what you think. Before we dive in, if you guys happen to enjoy, please don't forget to smash subscribe, give the video a thumbs up, and if you would like to support the channel by becoming a member, all you gotta do is hit that join button and receive your exclusive benefits. I'm very intrigued to hear this one. Um, Why Brits? How do Brits do religion? This is intriguing. This is fascinating because it's someone who started to dive back into the Word of Jesus. Is someone who started to try to gain more understanding. Like I want to understand like how the Brits do religion and like kind of differences. Before we dive in, I already said that, so let's dive into it.
Okay, let's tackle one of those topics that usually makes people shuffle in their seats a little bit: religion. Now, no matter where you're from, if you're from the UK, US, or any other country, religion tends to be somewhat of a sensitive topic. However, you come from where I came from in America, religion is something that you naturally compare, at least how people handle it. Don't worry, I'm not going to preach or anything like that. I don't even go to church. But as an American living in the UK, I've noticed some really stark cultural differences in how religion shows up here in the UK versus in the United States. And honestly, some of them are hilarious, some of them are a little bit awkward, but all of them really took me by surprise and made me second guess a lot of what happens in the United States. Stick around because by the end, you're going to see why religion in the US feels like it's cranked up to full volume, while in the UK, it's more like background noise and you only notice it if you're really paying attention.
Okay.
So back in the States, even if you've never stepped foot in any kind of place of worship, you can't avoid it. Religion is everywhere.
Yeah.
There's billboards on the highway, there's bumper stickers on cars, giant churches, synagogues, mosques, and everything else in between, with parking lots that are as big as shopping malls. Politicians ending every single speech with "God bless America." Religion is pretty much baked into daily life, whether you like it or not. Here in the UK, it's completely different. Churches are everywhere, but they look more like historical landmarks than busy community centers, and imposing and almost making you feel as if you are wrong or bad for not participating in one of these places of worship. Half the time, I walk by one and I can't tell if it's a museum or if it's even functional. Most are still active on some level, but you would barely know it. It's so subtle that it almost fades into the scenery. This really took me by surprise because coming from a country that does not have a set religion that is nationalized, I assumed that a country that did have a religion that was central to the country, that was nationalized, would be more people would be religious overall, and it would be more of a cornerstone of the culture. And I guess it was at one point, but it just certainly isn't any longer.
Yeah, I think, and I'm not here to preach. I'm just here to give kind of my thoughts. But I think there's just been so much people using Christianity, using religion in order to justify certain actions, twisting words, twisting verses, misinterpreting meanings in order to do bad and to do evil. And I'm assuming in the UK, which like they do have like a Christianity, like it's been in the UK for forever, but you're starting to see definitely that dying down now. She's talking about it being more subtle, more in the background. I feel like a lot of these people were just kind of turned off by certain people that said they believe this, but then would go and do corrupt acts or certain churches or organizations, and so people just are like, if that's like Christianity or if that's religion, then I don't want any part of it. But that's no, it's not that. It's not. But in America, yes, you do see it everywhere. You do see it ads it everywhere. And a lot of people will using it to try to profit from it. Is I don't like that, but yeah, I don't like that a bit. But like to Christians who are just want to like be loud and proud and bold about their faith, and that's, to me, that's a beautiful thing, because I feel like once you do allow him into your heart, he does like just want to make you shout about his name because it's such a great feeling. I don't want to get on here and preach to y'all. It's an amazing feeling. Just allowing him to fill your heart with his love. It makes you want to shout out about it. So I get it. Let's go to the next one.
This is where I had my first real culture clash. Back home, even if you're not religious, you are casually asked, so what church do you go to? What faith do you
Yeah.
follow? It's kind of the equivalent small talk of the weather, I suppose, here.
Mhm.
I don't know why it's
Okay.
an icebreaker, but it just seems to be. It's totally normal for someone to talk to you about their religion or to ask you about your own or your own faith. So when I first moved here, I believe it came up in conversation and I was just really casual about it. Like, oh, so what do you believe? Because that's what I'm used to. You
Yeah.
would not believe the look that I got. It was like I was asking for someone's PIN number for their bank card. And that's when I realized for the first time that in the UK, religion is just not a an acceptable topic of conversation typically. It's
Mm.
almost on the same level as asking how much you make a year and what you do for a living. It just doesn't matter in the UK culture like it
Mm.
matters in the US culture. It's very personal, it's very private,
I get that.
and almost completely off limits unless you have a very strong connection bond with someone, you know them really, really well.
Yeah. And I completely understand that because yeah, you never know. I like if somebody, I mean, whether they believe or not, you if they don't want to hear it, then right, you don't have to just be like imposing your faith onto them. Like and I understand that. Like I told y'all, then once you feel that love, it's really hard to not want to talk about it. It's difficult because you just want to. It's that it feel that good. You just want to share it. But I can also understand a private faith and not that not being like the small talk that you guys make and wanting to do that more privately or wanting to do that inside a community of people that you know inside of kind of like minded people. So I definitely understand that as well.
So in the United States, we take everything to an extreme, obviously. Anyone who's
I mean, that's true.
even had a small snippet of US culture will acknowledge that. So even if you've never stepped into any place of worship, religion still kind of runs the calendar.
Mm,
You have Easter aisles that look like candy factories exploded. Christmas
true.
starts pretty much the day after Halloween. Halloween itself is
That's already started here. It started about the beginning of the month of October. It's already going. I was like, hey, because I started seeing Christian. I was like, bro, it just started October. Like I thought this month it would be Halloween, and then the day I no, it's already started.
huge in America, which is kind of an anti-religious holiday in its origins, but still something that's highly celebrated in the United States. It's loud, it's everywhere. You have mixed in crosses, chocolate crosses with the chocolate bunnies, nativity scenes and pictures of
Mm.
baby
Oh yeah.
Jesus mixed up in the decorations that include Santa Claus and Happy Holidays. It's loud, it's everywhere, and you cannot escape it in the United States. But here in the United Kingdom, it's kind of different. Christmas is still huge. Christmas is so huge that because they don't really celebrate Halloween and Thanksgiving, it kind of starts in September. The minute that it's not hot anymore, Christmas stuff is out. But it's
I
more
feel that.
focused on community, family time, food that you maybe haven't had all
Mm.
year yet, decorating the inside of your house rather than the outside of your house, and really focusing on tradition first. Religion is
Mm.
there in the back.
I feel like those things are big in the U.S. Like community, family. When Christmas time, yeah, like it's time. I mean, gifts are big here. And definitely religion is. I mean, at the end of the day, that is the day of Christ's birthday. That is what the holiday is about. And so I feel like, of course, that has to like play a role in it. Like that has to be the main vocal point of the holiday.
when you compare the United States to the UK and you're talking about religion, politics has
No,
to come into the
I feel
conversation.
that.
Politics being a hot button issue in both arenas, it's still something that is intertwined in the United States with religion. It's
Mhm.
constantly tangled up together. Here
Yeah.
in the UK, it's much more separate. You'll hear passionate arguments about football, housing prices, Brexit, but not nearly as passionate about religion, which is the
Mhm.
exact opposite in the US. It seems that
Yeah.
I would say most, if not all, of the discussions in
Yeah.
the political arena have some kind of
I do
core
agree with
or
that.
foundation in a religious belief or an anti-religious belief.
Yeah.
So you will hear very, very passionate arguments in the States as well, but about we'll just cut that part out. It's really the contrary is really that the United States has the religion as a focal point in almost every aspect of the US and almost
Yeah.
every aspect of conversation, whereas the UK, it's just not part of the day-to-day debate, particularly in politics.
I think the thing that irks me with religion in the U.S. and politics is that so many people and politicians they weaponize religion. It's a weapon. It's something to say, hey, in this book it said that this is evil and that you should not be doing this, and that them over there they are evil, and they throw these verses out, and it's like that definitely God wants you to spread truth, but at the end of the day, like you are just you do you truly believe, or you just using these scriptures and verses as weapons against the other side, against the people that He commanded you to love? Are you trying to hurt them with this? Are you trying to teach? What are you trying to do? But it feels like you're weaponizing it. I think that's frustrating and it's upsetting because I don't know. That's to me that relationship with Christ. I don't even want to put that as a religion because I don't. That shouldn't be weaponized. If you ask me, it's something that um, should fill you with love for others. Should yes, justice is important. Yes, truth is important, but above all, I feel is love. And I think a lot of people lose that, especially when it comes to politics. Especially when it comes to politics.
So, from my non church going atheist perspective, it feels like this. America puts religion front and center. Even though it's supposed to be secular, it's supposed to be a melting pot. Some religions definitely want the final say, and they want to
Mm-hmm.
be the headliner at the music festival all the time. And other religions are just trying to practice in common faith, but also trying to stand their grounds and make sure that they're seen and heard in the US arena.
And
While
that's
the
understandable.
UK tends to treat religion more like an indie band that's playing quietly in the background at a county fair. Both exist, both really matter, both are integral in
Yeah,
shaping the culture
I feel
of
that.
each area.
Yeah,
However, they just do it in very different ways.
and I love that.
Honestly,
I
this
love
is
that.
for me just another representation of how the US and UK cultures are
Yeah.
actually more different than we realize. On the surface, it looks really similar. We have a lot of same values. We approach life in a lot of same manners. But when you actually start living it day to day from one to the other, you start to see these little gaps that feel massive once it
Mhm.
starts to cement and click into your head. So now I want to know what vibe you prefer. I mean, are you more about religion everywhere where you can learn a lot more, you get exposed to a lot more different religions, or are you more about the UK version of religion where you just don't really talk about it and you do what you do and you just move on? I'm still kind of figuring this out, just how to navigate and
Yeah, same.
uh, what which one I think I prefer, because I like the aspect of the United States, whereas I was because all the religions were loud and in your face. I was learned about so many of them. I was curious
Mhm.
about so many of them, and invoked so much
Yeah.
intrigue to me that
Hmm.
I was, educated on a lot of different religions and was able to learn a lot more than I feel like I would have if I wasn't. And
Yeah.
here in the UK, it's secularism is so much more common that it's almost like we don't really understand or take the time to have the conversation to understand or ask questions of other people's religions and why it's so important to them. And given that religion organized religion in itself, no matter what religion you believe, is as old as time and
Yeah,
is normally the basis of a lot of decisions in the world. I feel
yeah,
like it's a conversation that's probably worth having. Anyway, that's my take.
yeah.
I am curious what you guys know. Let me know in the
That's
comments
very
below.
interesting.
I hope
So
this answered all your questions about my perspective of the comparison of religion in the UK versus the US. I'll stay safe out there, guys. I'll talk to you next time. Bye.
I loved that video, and I loved her take on it. And because I'm a very curious person as well. And I don't think either way of serving the way the U.S. or the way the U.K. does it. Right, both cultures are different. And you may serve God differently. Right, He may be calling you to serve in a different way than others. And so whether you're more private and quiet about it, or whether you're loud and bold about it, I feel like as long as you have that personal relationship with God, like you're to me, you're good. I know you said religion. I keep only talking about Christianity, but that's I guess because I am a Christian. But I have like no ill will, no disrespect towards any other religion or anybody else's beliefs. And it's not to say mine is right and you're wrong or none of that. You feel me? But yeah, I definitely believe what I believe, and I believe that in the U.S., I love that it's everywhere. I wish that everybody like was in the Word and studying it for themselves, so that people weren't misled by other people weaponizing certain verses, certain scriptures. And so when people use it to weaponize it, and then other people aren't studying enough are studying enough themselves, or rather going off what they say, that kind of gets frustrating. But when you're in your word and you're trying to gain understanding, and then I feel like you will know who's twisting things and who's being honest. And I'm over here preaching. I didn't mean to get over here and start preaching, but it's just something that fascinated me. When I saw it, I wanted to see how the different countries like represented religion differently. But y'all let me know in the comments what you think. If you enjoyed, please don't forget to subscribe, give it a thumbs up, check out the next. I'll see y'all.